The freestyle kickflip to rail is stylish, semi-difficult, and incredibly fun, which is why I wanted to go over how I learned it in case anything I did might help you. Now in general, I would recommend breaking this trick down into two main phases: mastering the basics and mastering the mechanics. While you could jump into this trick without any basics down, it is much easier and faster to learn if you master these two foundations first. 1. The basic freestyle kickflip to fakie. Even if you're not landing it every try, you really need to be confident getting your feet back onto the board, and you almost need the same exact mechanics to execute this version of the trick. If you haven't learned this trick first or would like a few refresher tips, I will link a few tutorials below in the description. And 2, I would recommend already having a decent selection of rail tricks down. Bonus points if any of those tricks are landed back into rail, because landing this trick largely hinges on being brave enough to jump onto the board sideways. So if you already feel good in rail, if you can already do a number of flips into it or out of it, that will make learning this trick so much easier. But there's not really a set number or specific kind of trick you should learn. Everyone is a little bit different. Some skaters will feel a lot more confident in rail right off the bat, and others might need a little more time. But if you don't have any other tricks landed back into rail down, I would recommend going for at least the basic rail to rail, also sometimes called a rolo. It was my first trick back into rail, and I found it a lot less intimidating than others, so you can start here to build up some confidence and get more used to landing back on the side of your board. The mechanics can be broken down largely into two main parts: the flip and the jump. The flip, just like with your standard kickflip to fakie, sets up with the balls of your feet in the center of the board. And from here, you dip your toes down off the side of the board, and while jumping, you hook those toes under the side and flick up and over with your toes. Hopefully, these mechanics are already pretty familiar to you. They are the same exact mechanics as the standard kickflip to fakie. The only real difference here is pulling back a little bit. You just need to use a little less strength. That's it. The jump is also largely the same. You need to jump to the side because the board will travel in the direction that you're flicking it. You need to lead the jump with your shoulders and rotate your body and hips 90 degrees to make sure that you're landing on the side of the board. And you need to make sure that you're separating your feet in the air so that they land over the wheels. You just have to be a good deal more specific and accurate with where you land, since the platform is much smaller. So for me, since I could already confidently kickflip back to fakie and do a handful of rail tricks, landing this version was all about two things. 1, desensitizing myself to this particular rail trick, as it was still pretty scary at first, and I could definitely feel myself hesitating to commit to the trick. And 2, focusing 95% of my effort on the jump. To me, the jump was the most important part of this trick, because with the flip, I knew that eventually, even if by accident, I would use the right amount of strength to flip the board onto its side. So what I really needed to do, what I wanted to do, was make sure that I was ready to land on the trick every single try, no matter how the board flipped. And so I did. I spent try after try letting the board flip poorly while focusing mostly on the jump, getting a good turn, getting my feet apart and ready to catch the wheels, jumping far enough to the side, like really jump to the side, let the board travel, meet the board where it's going. Right there is where I used about 95% of my mental space. I just wanted to be ready to catch the board when I accidentally flipped it a perfect 3/4 flip onto its side. And once I really started to stick these missed landings, when I felt better about the turn and bracing for the side of the rail instead of the bolts, I did finally catch an accidental perfect rotation to rail. And from there on out, I just kept doing the same thing. I mostly focused on the jump, and over time, as I became more confident in that motion, I was able to start working on dialing in the flip. Every session, I was a little more conscious of how hard I was flipping with my back foot. And now it's no longer a lucky accident or something that I have to work really, really hard for. It's become a slightly challenging trick that I can add into a line and absolutely adore. Anyway, good luck if you do decide to try this trick out. I hope that something in here was helpful for you, and as always, I hope you enjoyed the video.